humongous amount of technology we built in-house to run this. I'm going to explain this to you to try and visualize this, right? And India's got about roughly 250,000 ATMs, 2.5 lakh ATMs. Almost half of them are at a bank branch. So within a branch, it has its own complexity, but it's within a branch. Half of them are outside, about 125,000 ATMs. CMS handles 70,000 of the 125,000 ATMs. So for any Indian citizen who's touching a ATM outside a branch network, we are invariably a large part of that. Now, 70,000 ATMs, we are talking about almost everything from forecasting the need of the currency in that ATM on a given day, because currency is always never available in the, because cost of cash is high. And therefore, how much currency do you need to fill in? And has to be just in time, just right. Otherwise, there's a higher cost. And you're almost going alternate days to replenish at that frequency. You go to the US and be once a week. In India, it's every 2 days. You get a trip sheet in the morning. And 35,000 ATMs across the length and breadth of the country have to be forecasted, currency sourced, transported, counted, filled, closed by end of the day. Indian conditions, climate, traffic, whatever you want to think of it. So the amount of tech which goes into running this network, because also what you're carrying is very valuable. It's not 1,000, 2,000 rupee grocery order. At the price point we deliver this at, I think it's a humongous tech play which makes this run. And of course, the 20,000 people, the 4,000 vans, which are on the ground enabling this to work.
Your average, your average, let's say, dispersal per ATM per month is about 1 crore, or crore to crore 0.3, 1.2, 1 to 1.3.
Right.
So the daily would be divided by 30 roughly?
Yeah,
I mean, be like
peaks during salary, first 10 days, last 5 days, those are peaks. But yes, I think you should take a sort of just split it by 25, 30 days. Yeah.
Right. And therefore, you're filling it every 2 days, you're saying. Is that
and this is interesting. Pre-demonetization, we used to have about 12 fills a month. Post-demonetization, now we're 10 years away. 10 years after, we are still filling this about 11.5 times a month, right? So the frequency, and again, I tell people, I think the business model depends on many factors. Number of ATMs, how many of them outsource, how many of them are with us, the price per trip, but most importantly also the velocity of cash. And, to borrow money, it costs 4, 5, 6% minimum. And therefore, our trip has to be cheap enough that you want to do just in time, right? Rather than say, you know what, this is too expensive. Let me just fill it up for the next 2 weeks and forget about it. It happens in the US because cost of cash till recently was maybe 2%. So, they would fill it up for a week and let go.
And is it, when you say fill up, is it actually filled up or is it, or is there?
Well, never really fully
never
filled
really
up,
filled
right?
up.
Never, yeah. I mean, unless there is a very high transacting location, then of course the forecast is they fill it up because then you're actually going almost every day. But effectively, when you're going once every 2 days, you're filling it up roughly half.
And obviously at some central kind of console, you're able to see how much is being used in every
absolutely.
ATM.
Yeah.
And do they normally follow previous patterns or prior patterns, or do you see?
Well, I think initially they were, but things have been far more volatile in the last 4 to 6 quarters. I just think the climatic patterns have been more unpredictable, right? And therefore, we are seeing a lot more, and you'll see this in commentary quarterly, where consumption is getting suddenly impacted due to either heat waves or monsoons or extended rains, because mobility comes down, right? So I think I have noticed there have been more disruption in patterns in the last 4 to 6 quarters. And I think we are just embracing that as the new volatility in life, right?
And that's both ways. I mean, people may not turn up at an ATM at all for some days versus...
Well, they do. I don't think that happens really, unless the ATM isn't working, but the frequency of what happens. So there are patterns, right? When you're getting salary credit cycles, there are patterns around festivals, which are very easy to predict and model on. There are patterns around elections time, right? We'll see. So I think there are those macro-led events which we sort of understand. But climate-related, I think, it still has a little bit of a lag. And also, keep in mind that, either basis a contract or basis a responsibility, we want to make sure the ATM doesn't shut down. It can shut down for many reasons, but it shouldn't shut down for cash being out. That's our fundamental responsibility. So how do you do just in time and just right is where we deploy a lot of our tech and forecasting patterns.